Hi, very good afternoon. Myself, Dr. Ravi Kumar Poluru, working as Assistant Professor in the Department of Information Technology. Today's topic we are going to discuss about the old way and the new, the principles of conventional software engineering. So today we are going to discuss the old and new way. So what is the difference between the old way and the new way? So old way is nothing but here. The old way we can call as conventional software management. It means in this conventional software management, mainly we are using the technique called waterfall model. Whereas in the new way, okay, so we are using the technique called modern iterative process. The main difference between the conventional and the modern iterative, so compared to the conventional, so in the conventional, the schedule and the cost is very high here. And in the new way, we are using the modern iterative. So when you are using the modern iterative, the schedule and the cost also we can easily minimize. The main ultimate goal for the organization is to improve the quality and to maintain the cost effective, and within the schedule, we need to complete the project. So today we are going to discuss about now what are the main principles of conventional software engineering. So here actually we have the 201 principles are among them. So mainly we have the 30 principles are very important. These 30 principles are mainly implemented in any organizations, not only in the software engineering. So we can use in the software industries or software projects. So these principles are very important while they're doing any product or the project or implementing any softwares. The first principle is make quality. So quality is the ultimate goal for the organization. This must be quantified and be measured. So quality has to be measured to improve or to achieve the goal here. So the main criteria for any organization, they need to improve the quality of the software or quality of the product. So if the quality is achieved, then easily they can gain the profits in the software organization. So here we have the quality commencement with the project is very important. It means mainly for the projects, they need to verify about the quality of the project. Okay, in the modern process frameworks, they need to verify about the what are the main trade-offs. So there are some features are there, such as the quality, the cost and schedule. So in early classes we have discussed that we have the triangle shape, so that the quality will comes and the cost and the schedule comes in the life cycle suitable. So here the ultimate goal for any organization is they need to improve the quality and the project has to be completed within the cost and within the schedule of the time they need to finish the projects. Okay, so this is the first principle of the conventional software engineering. So what is the second principle? The second principle is high quality software is possible. So we need to improve the more quality of the software. So there we need to follow some techniques to improve the quality. So what are the metrics means? First, they need to involve the customer. Customer opinion is the best for any product or software doing for the organizations. Next one is prototype. Based upon the feedback given by the customers or inputs taken from the customers, they need to design the prototype and simplifying the design. So here the customers and the prototype. So based upon the feedbacks and the inputs, they need to design the architecture, and inspection is very important. So last class we have discussed about the peer inspection. So we know that peer inspection or peer review is very important for improving the quality or to identify the defects in the product. So here the junior members will be developing the product or developing the software. These senior members are going to inspect the software or the product. So this inspection is very important to identify the defects in the early stages of the life cycle. And also during the inspection, they need to write in detail about the documentation. So how they're going to identify the defects or the issues and how they're going to overcome while they're discussing with the junior members and how they have sort out this problem. So they need to in detail report has to be maintained. And the last one is hiring the best people. So for many companies, not only the companies, in any organization, so when you're hiring the good people and providing the good resources, definitely the organization will gain the profits. If you hire the good people and if you're not providing the adequate resources, so they cannot complete the project within the stipulated time. So obviously the organization will get it into the loss. So that's why hiring the good people and providing the adequate resources is very important for any organizations. So then only we can achieve the more quality of the product or the projects. Next one is give products to customer early. So previously here, while you're designing any product, first we need to take the input from the customers. Okay, and within the stipulated time, this products has to be completed and be assigned to the customers. It means they need to release the products to the market here. So in this third principle, give products to the customer earlier. It means what are the time or what are the criticality of the designing the product it is. So they has to learn user needs based upon the in the requirement phase, and they need to provide very effective way to provide the real needs to give to the user product. It means within the time this product has to be delivered so that the customer satisfaction is the ultimate goal for the any organization. So here, depending on the domain, so whatever the domain it is, they need to concentrate on the prototype and the different types of the milestones they need to release. So for example, if you are taking the software here, I'm considering one example. So if you are taking the Windows, okay, so in Windows previously they have released the XP service pack 1. Okay, so later on, so they after the 3 months or the 6 months, they try to release the another version called service pack 2. It means the alpha or the beta releases will be, they are going to keep on releasing. It means they are providing more security and functionality of the software here. So that's why what are the needs, based upon the needs, they need to develop the products, and the product has to be released within the stipulated time also. And the next one is determine the problem before writing the requirements. So this is very important here. The first one is they need to sort out what is the problem. Okay, and they need to understand the problem, what is the problem, and based upon that they need to use the use cases. So in company mainly they are going to concentrate initial stages business use cases. Means they will take the different types of the criteria, the different types of the use cases, and sort out the how they can rectify this problem. Okay, this is very important before writing the requirements. First, the problem will be discussing. Later, they are taking the different types of the use cases that we can call as the solutions, different types of the solutions. So they will not hurry about the solutions. First, what is the problem, how they're going to sort out this problem. Okay, then they're trying to solve this problem in a different alternative ways. Okay, when they're getting the solutions, that solutions can be done like a framework for the particular problem here, and it is very understood for the developing the full productions. So here mainly they need to understand the problem. The experts has to be seated and they're going to discuss about the problem. Okay, the problem has to be understood by the all members. There should be a brainstorming between the each and every person. After that, they're going to take the different types of the alternatives of the solutions. So if the solutions is effective, then that based upon the solution, they're going to design the framework. So this is the fourth principle here. And the next one is evaluate design alternatives. Okay. First here we have seen that they need to discuss the problem. Okay. Later they need to concentrate on the documentation. Okay. And next one is they need to design. Okay. So while they're designing, they need to verify about what are the different types of the components they need to place in the architecture. Okay. So after requirements, they need to agree about the different types of the architectures, and they need to develop the algorithms here. Okay. So not only the architecture, they need to simplify about the what are the main requirements or the components is mainly used for this architecture. So this principle is very useful when you are using the waterfall model. They can have the two techniques or the two ways. One is the requirements precedes the architecture. Okay, first they are going to check that what are the main requirements. Later they are going to design the architecture part, and the architecture is incorporated in the requirement specifications. So here, based upon the problem and the documentation, it means that in detail they are going to write the what are the various requirements as well as the components need to place in the design of the architecture part here. Okay, so this is the fifth principle for the principles of conventional software engineering. Okay, so the next principle is use an appropriate process model. Okay, so after requirements, the next one is design part. Then later we can use the process model. So for each and every project, we need to select the proper process. Okay, so that based upon that, it will be incorporate for the culture and what are the main risks and where these applications can be implemented when you're choosing the process, and any volatility of the requirements is there, and we need to verify about the different types of the requirements mainly used here. Okay, so here mainly the process framework is mainly flexible. Okay, rather than the single instances here. So mainly here we need to choose the proper process model for each and every project, and we need to check about the what are the risk will be affected during selecting about this process for the projects. Okay, and the next one is use different languages for the different phases. So previously we have seen that high level programming languages. So we have the assembly languages C, C++, ADA, ADA 83, ADA 95, and Java, COBOL, and Visual Basics. So these are the main programming languages we are using. Okay, so among that, mainly here they are going to concentrate on the ADA 83 and ADA 95. Compared to the ADA 83, ADA 95 is consisting of very less line of code here. Okay, so whereas Visual Basic also will be using very minimal amount of the source line of code here. So here the ultimate principle for the seventh is different languages. So we need to use the different types of the programming languages for the different types of the phases. So mainly the industries they're going to check the from simple solutions to the complex problems. Based upon that, they're going to identify which programming. Okay, so mainly the software engineers use the ADA. Okay, for the requirements, design, and code. Okay, so these they can while they're choosing any programming languages, they need to understand whether this programming language is optimal for all the phases or not. Okay, so based upon that, they need to choose the which programming language is suitable for each and every phases, or they can use the different types of the phases, different languages here. Okay, so this is about the seventh principle, and the eighth principle is minimize intellectual distance. So here, when you're talking about the distance, we need to come across how much the main while you're designing any techniques or the component based or visual modeling, we need to check that we need to minimize the distance between the software structures. Okay, we need to check that what are the main possibilities of the real world structures. For example, here while you are developing the software product, here mainly we need to check that whether we need to use the object oriented technique and component based development and visual model. So mainly for development of the software, we need to use this object-oriented technique. So here we need to use the concept called reuse. So here we can minimize the length of the code here, and also component based. So previously we have seen that 70% of the component based development will be happening. So automatically the code reduction also will be done here, and visual modeling also mainly it will be using very less line of code also. So mainly when you're concentrating about these techniques implementing for the development, so the distance can be uh, minimized here. It means the distance in the sense the length of the code can be minimized here. Next one is put techniques before tools here. Okay, it means here the techniques has to be implemented. Okay, how means we have the disciplined and undisciplined software engineering. Okay, so the disciplined software means good people, he knows how to use the technology, the techniques and the tools. Okay, the good people have the tried. Okay, so that he is aware of the techniques and the tools what they are going to implement it for the project. Whereas undisciplined software engineering is not trying how to use these tools. Okay, when he is not implementing these tools in a proper manner, definitely the dangerous. It means the project will be spoiled here. Okay, so here we have the some principles will be there. The points such as the disciplined software engineering with good tools will outproduce disciplined software experts with no tools. In the sense, when you are hiring the good people and providing the adequate resources, the tools, technologies, or models, you can easily do the project in a proper manner without using any tools here. But uh, whereas here, when you are using the undisciplined software engineering, even though if you are providing the adequate resources to them, you don't know how to use these tools in a proper manner. So here, definitely the organizations are going to lose the project here. And one more is, one of the best ways to promote is standardize and deliver good techniques, okay, through automations. So we have seen that automation will be mainly using very effective way and providing the efficiency and giving more quality of the softwares as well as the product here. Okay, so these are the main 2 points for using the techniques before the tools here. So good people, good resources, so they can use very effectively. And undisciplined software engineering cannot utilize the tools in a proper manner here. And next one is get it right before you make it faster. So here the thing is mainly we need to concentrate on the to do the task in a right manner, not in the faster manner. So it means the program has to be executed in a correct manner, not to implement a fast program work here. It means the program must be run very faster here. Okay, and easy manner, the data has to be work in a proper manner. So here the performance problem. It means generally we need to verify about the performance for the software engineering. Okay, so when the person is using in a right manner, then there is no performance problem here. If you're not utilizing the tools or the resources in a proper manner, then definitely we are getting the risk here. So that's why for every successful, mainly we need to check about the right person has to be used the right tools and gain the good performance here. Okay, or else we need to identify what are the performance issues in the early life cycle, so that to rectify about these immature architectures and performance issues in the first executable iterations here. So here each and every time, so there should be a team will be there to scrutinize or to inspect the problem, what are the architectural problem or the documentation problem or in the software problem. So they need to identify in the early stages. Okay, so this is about get it right. It means before delivering any product, we need to scrutinize properly and correct it before releasing to the market. Next one is inspect code. Code must be inspected. It means inspecting the detailed design and code is a much better way to find errors than testing. So mainly these experts, senior members will be going to inspect the architecture part as well as the software in a detailed way to identify the errors. Okay, If they identify the errors, they need to discuss with the junior members how to rectify these errors or the bugs. Okay. Later on, here they need to write that in detail about the documentation, how to rectify it. Okay. The report has to be submitted to the senior members. Then the information has to be transmitted to the testing part here. Okay. So mainly here we have the hardware resources, programming languages, and automated environment enable automated analysis and testing. So mainly we need to use this in a proper manner. So automated environment, it means the tools has to be used in a automated way. So it will be providing a very effective and efficient manner here. Continuous and automated life cycle is very necessary for the modern iterative development compared to the conventional software engineering. So mainly this will be going to check on the issues inspections. So and they're going to resolve these problems in a early stages only. And next principle is good management is more important than good technology. So here the 12th principle is good management. So good management is nothing but here while you are hiring the good people, the management has to be give the encouragement to the people to go for the training and providing the adequate resources so that they can achieve the successful the project here. If the management is not good, and even though if you are having the good technology, then so definitely they are demotivated the people here. So here the best technology will not compensate for the poor management. So always a good manager can produce a great result. It means the developer must be trained. So whenever they're asking for the training, these managers has to be taken into the note, and they can go for the give the training and provide the good technology to gain or to achieve the successful for the year. So that's why mainly we need to concentrate on the good management, providing for the good people and providing the adequate resources to the right people here. Okay. And next one is people are the key to success. Here mainly high skilled people means when you're having the good people, it means good people in the sense means he is having the adequate knowledge in the technology and cooperating with the team members. Mainly we need to check about the whether this person is having the good communication between the team members and having the good knowledge on the technology. So that's why we can call as highly skilled people with appropriate experience, talent, and training are the main key here. Okay, so while you're hiring the people, we need to check the talent and give the adequate training. Okay, so that he will be using the sufficient tools in a right manner to succeed in the organization. If you're giving the, for example, if you're taking the right people with insufficient tools and languages, then definitely he cannot succeed here. Okay, sometimes because we need to provide the proper resources to the right people, and also when you're giving the wrong people with the appropriate tools, because these wrong people cannot utilize these appropriate tools and languages in a proper manner, so they are failure. So that's why here the main summary is here we need to hire the good people and provide the good resources and the training so that he can achieve in the organization and gain the more profits. And 14th point is follow with care. So while you're designing any product or the softwares, mainly we need to consider the object orientation, measurements, reuse, process improvement, case, prototypes. So these, when you're considering these tools or the techniques, then definitely we are going to improve the quality and minimize the cost and satisfy the more customer satisfaction is very high here. So that for achieving the customer satisfaction and improving the quality, mainly we need to use the object orientation and reuse concepts and case and prototyping for improving the quality. Okay. And next principle is take responsibility. Okay. So responsibility is very important for when you're handling the any project or the product here. So here when a bridge collapses, we ask. Okay, generally, for example, we are taking some example here. When the bridge is collapses, definitely first we'll ask who are designed this bridge. So within 1 or 2 months, this bridge is collapsed. So the engineer is not good. So that's why even though while you are purchasing any software, if the software is not working properly, then rarely. So we cannot ask directly. But this bridge or some other roads, constructions like that, so people will questioning that what did the engineers do? Okay, like that we are going to ask them some questions here. But when the software is fails, rarely we are going to ask that. So who is the software developer who designed this software? So that's why here mainly we need to concentrate the people has to be take the more responsibility to design the accurate software here. Okay, so engineering discipline is very important for designing the good software here. Okay, and the next principle is understand the customer priorities. So mainly 100% we need to consider the customer satisfaction is very important for designing the product. Okay, so it is possible the customer would tolerate 90% of the functionality delivered late. Okay, if they could have 10% of it on time. Okay, so mainly we need to check the customer priorities within the stipulated time. We need to deliver the products to the customers here. If it is delay, only the minimal amount of the customers there get frustration and they may be asking the questions to the managers. The next principle is the more they say, the more they need. It means so the functionality or the performance we need to provide a user, and the more functionality or the performance user wants. Mainly we need to concentrate about the software or the product, what are the functionalities we need to use. The performance has to be improved here. Mainly we need to see that the performance has to be have more. And the next one is plan to throw one way. So for the any success factors, mainly we need to check that what are the product, whether we need to implement the product in a new manner or we need to use reuse concepts for implementing the products. So mainly for the brand new applications or the architectures, interfaces or the algorithms rarely works the first step. So while you are designing any product, sometimes the first success, sometimes it will be first time will be successful. Okay, so when you keep on upgrading or implementing the some modification, then only it will be try to performing very well here. And the next one is design for change. Okay, based upon the changes, we need to change the architectures and we need to use the modifications in the components and specifications techniques also. We need to change based upon the criteria or the products we need to have. Okay, and the 20th principle is design without a documentation. It's not a design. So mainly for any developers, they need to check in detail about the documentation. Then only they have to start the design part. Without saying the documentation, if they design, then we can say that it is not a good way to design the product. Okay, so here they given that the document driven approach of the past means the documentation was separate from the software itself. So mainly we need to verify about the documentation, then only we need to design the prototype and use the visual modeling and higher order programming languages, so that to maintain for the software design in a proper manner. So that's why for designing the architecture, mainly we need to check the documentation in a proper way and to design the architecture and the components in a effective manner. And 21st principle is use tools but be realistic. So here in the sense, the software tools must be used very efficiently, effectively for the users. Okay, these tools must be very helpful for the users. Next one is avoid tricks. So mainly we should not use any tricks to create the programs. Okay, many programmers what they will do means they can use the tricks, means they can have instead of writing the code, they can take the code from the somewhere websites and they can construct the functions correctly. So that is not the right way. So they need to follow the rule to write the code in a proper manner. So here constructs that perform a function correctly but in a obscure way. show the world how smart you are by avoiding the tricky code here. So mainly the programmers has to be write the code in a proper manner. They should not use any tricks here. Next one is encapsulate. Encapsulate, we know that encapsulation is nothing but hiding the information. So it means result in a software that is easier to test and much easier to maintain. So when you are using the encapsulation, the information can be hide. So this can be easier to implement and test also. So mainly generally we can consider the component based design and object oriented design and modern design, and different various types of programming notations can be used in these principles while you are using the encapsulations. And next one is use coupling and cohesions. So we know that coupling and cohesions. Coupling can be used in an effective manner. Okay, so we know that loose coupling and tight coupling can be there, and coupling and cohesion space are mainly used to measure the software inherent maintainability and adaptability. It means mainly when you are using these cohesion components, we need to, the main ultimate goal of coupling and cohesion is to minimize the scrap as well as the rework data here. Okay, so here when you are using the cohesive components, it will be minimizing the coupling so that ultimately it will be minimize the scrap and rework. When you are minimizing the scrap and rework, so the code will be reduced. When the code is reduced, the cost also will be automatically reduced here. And next principle is use the Meckert complexity measure. So Meckert complexity measure is nothing but it is an metric which will be checking the complexity of the software. So they can use that. How can we initiate to consider these complexity measures for the software development here. Next one is don't test your own software. Okay, while many software developers should not never be used the primary testers. First, they need to write the code in a proper manner. Then they can go for the testing department. Then only they can check for the whether the software is running in a proper manner or not. So they should not use the test their own software here. And next one is analyze causes for errors. For any developers, mainly they need to understand what are the bugs they have identified and how to find and fix it in a proper manner. So the ultimate goal for any organization is to minimize the bugs here. Okay, so after finding the bugs, they need to understand what are these bugs and how to rectify this in a more cost effective manner. Okay, and also here we can analyze the cause of errors that are detected. We should not worried about the making the errors. So mainly the people will be worried if I do the job in this manner. So first we need to approach this criteria that if you are getting some errors, then we need to try to rectify these problems. Okay. Next one is analyze the cause for errors. Okay. After entering with the criteria, then we need to analyze the what is the problem which I faced here and how to rectify the production stage here. These are the two metrics to minimize the errors. Next one is realize that software's entropy increase. In the sense here, in any software systems, mainly we need to check about the continuous changes. So when you're releasing the software, so that is not a final one. So we can use the alpha or the beta releases each and every time and providing the complexity. And mainly we need to check that whether it is a organized or the disorganized manner. So here it means we need to update the softwares in a proper manner here. Okay. Next one is the people and time are not interchangeable. Okay. So mainly we need to, while you are considering the projects, the time and people cannot be interchangeable because the time is very important and the people must be considered for do the projects in a proper manner here. So measuring a project solely by person months means while you're considering any project, so mainly we are considering how many people we required for in these months. Okay, so these people and the time cannot be interchangeable. And the last principle is expect excellence. The ultimate goal for any employees of the organization is they need to develop the good expectations for the product or the project so that they can highly gain the return of investments. Okay, so this excellence. So when they're designing the when they're going to design the product or the software in a high quality, so definitely they can gain the ROI. It means they can have the more profits, the quality. Okay, the cost within the budget, they can do the project, and within the stipulated time, scheduled time, they can do and have the more excellency on the employees. So these are the main expectations from the these are the main 30 principles of the conventional software engineering. So these are the references. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.